What's up, everyone? This is Angelo coming at you with episode 229 of Spinning Thoughts. Dan sits down with Falsifier to talk about how they found their roots in music, how they got into hardcore music, what it's been like navigating this world during a pandemic and trying to tour in Canada, in the States, and everything in between. This conversation also rounds out Dan's little mini-series of the No Passage Fest conversations. If you remember, in episode 227, Dan sat down to talk to Joe Day, the promoter of No Passage Fest. And just last week, Dan talked to A Will Away, one of the 13 bands, including Falsifier, at No Passage Fest. So if you don't remember, No Passage Fest happened on March the 19th in Hamilton, Ontario. Like Pacific was the headliner, the fest also served as their album release for Control My Sanity. So really excited to have Falsifier here on the podcast. I think this is their first time ever on Spinning Thoughts. And in their conversation with Dan, they even are teasing a little bit about some upcoming shows, tours, an EP. It seems like 2022 could be quite the exciting year for Falsifier. If you like this kind of content, make sure you stop what you're doing right now. Give it a like on YouTube. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and do that on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I'd also like to say that Spinning Thoughts got early access to video podcasts on Spotify. It's really cool. I like the way that it's embedded and integrated right into the app. So if you haven't checked that out, go to Spotify, leave us a 5-star review, and check out the video podcasts on there. If you want to see this face or the faces of the many beautiful bands that we talk to. We're on all social media at Spin Thoughts. Our website is thespinningthoughts.com, and we have premiere episodes every Thursday at midnight Eastern on Adobe Radio. Without any further delay, let's dive into Dan's conversation with Falsifier at No Passage Fest 2022.
Hello, Dan Boyer, Canadian contributor for Spinning Thoughts. And I am here with Falsifier. What's up, guys?
What's going on?
It's great to see you guys. I'm going to guess that this is one of the first festivals you've been back on since COVID's been around?
I think so, yeah. I think we did play a fest in the States on the last tour we did, but this is definitely the first local fest we've done.
Yeah.
Right.
And it'll be our second Canadian show since we've been back. So,
talk to me about how Falsifier came together. Like, where did it all start? Because I know you've been at it for quite a few years now, and there've been member changes and such. So, just let's roll it all the way back to the beginning of Falsifier.
So I was in an old band forever ago, and then I was out of a band for a while, and we, how did it start?
Well, I mean,
I was just scrolling through Facebook trying to find members for a band, and there was like a London, Ontario hardcore group. I don't even know if that Facebook group is still a thing, but I found our old drummer posting on there asking for like people to start like a heavy band and whatever, so I shot him a message, and that's basically it. And he's just like, I know a couple of guys, you know a couple of guys, let's get everybody together and just try and write some heavy tunes. And that's literally how we started. And then later down the line, just members didn't work out, and then Colin started filling in for us a couple of times, and then
I mean, I consider that like kind of the beginning anyway, right? Because we were like in our infancy. Like you guys had played maybe 3 shows total, two shows total.
Yeah.
And then hey, I miss playing heavy music. 'Cause I'd been playing in pop punk bands and stuff, and I was like, I miss playing heavy music. So when I got offered from Matt, and me and him were really like, we were trying to start bands in Windsor, but he moved to London and started Falsifier, and then I eventually ended up filling in and becoming a full-time member, and
here we are 9 years later.
I was going to ask, how many years ago was that?
That had to have been like at least 9 years.
Wow.
When would it be? Like 2015?
No, we released the first single, I believe it was 2013.
2013?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And how did you get into heavy music in the first place? Like Falsifier, you're probably the heaviest band I've interviewed. Like, you know, you're one of those bands that, I don't know what subgenre of metal you would be, but I'm gonna guess you'd be a subgenre of metal, and I'm gonna guess you've got a logo that like looks like a bunch of tree branches.
We definitely do.
I love the tree branches.
So what led you to get into that style and type of music?
I've been into heavy music for a really long time, and when we started the band, there was a pretty big like influx of heavy bands at that time, and just really liked what was going on, and we're like, okay, well, let's see if we can like get in there, get our foot in that door, and like try and just be like that. We never had a goal in mind on what we wanted to sound like. We just wanted to write heavy music, and that was it. So I think that's what's kind of helped us a lot too, with like not focusing on a genre. We just want to be a heavy band. That's it.
And when did you start to know or notice that Falsifier was becoming a bigger thing than like a bunch of kids that wanted to start a local band?
I'd say it's like when we started picking up playing shows like more local across like I guess Ontario, where we started actually like doing like weekend warrior kind of things. Like we'd play with all the local bands from the area, and then we eventually like booked a full tour around that and did Ontario, and then we did cross Canada, and then like we started getting some traction, and then we signed with Artery Records for a brief period, and that helped us out a lot, I'd say, with like promotion and like getting our name out there.
For me, I think that's basically when I thought we were like getting to be a bigger band. Was like once we signed to the label, we're like, okay, well, that's really cool. Obviously, like we're very excited about it. But then like once we posted that we were like signed, the response we got was crazy. Like we basically like blew up a lot overnight just by announcing that. And I think that's where like we were on tour when we announced it. We were in like Des Moines, I think we were, and we're like sitting in a Walmart parking lot watching the numbers just go and go and go. And we're like, holy shit, we're like kind of getting somewhere here.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, how do you go about balancing? Because I'm gonna guess you got to still deal with day jobs and what have you. So, you find yourself in this spot where the band has traction. And the band has, as you say, the fan base is growing, but not to the extent that you're like, okay, I'm just going to drop my day job, right? So how does that work? How do you balance that? Because you get offered like a 5-week tour somewhere, and like how do you go about just being like, okay, boss, I'm out for like 5 weeks?
I think for me, I've always thought of like jobs being just something to facilitate me being able to go on tour. Luckily now, like Simon and I, we have an incredible boss who lets us tour basically whenever we want to, but I've quit countless jobs just to go on tour because that's job has never meant more to me than touring.
Yeah. Or even just playing like a single show. I've definitely turned around to a boss and be like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to be here, but I'll come back. Hopefully I'll see you then.
What ended up happening, like I've actually been with the same company since I was 18 years old. Like I work in Tool and Die, and my boss has been like very like gracious with giving me like the opportunity to go out and leave whenever I please to go on tour, and then come back to an actual job that I can support myself till the next one. So
that's actually amazing, because I'm not sure you'd find that you
don't find it too often, bro.
No, most of us are pretty blessed to have that.
Extremely fortunate for that, and yeah, because
speaking of tours, I'm remembering now, you did do one. When was that? The end of last year, or you were out with the last 10 Seconds of Life?
Yeah,
October, November, right?
Yeah.
So that would have been your first tour in the world of COVID, right?
Those were some of our first shows, like back. Like, we hadn't played any shows in Canada. Like, our first show back was wherever our Cincinnati,
the
Ohio.
first show of the tour was our first show, like, since playing before COVID. Well, since like December of 2019 was our first show ever. All these other bands were like, you know, already touring and playing shows and everything. We showed up on the package and we're like, hey, it's our first show in like a year and a half. Let's go.
And what was different in the kind of post-COVID world when it comes to touring?
Oh, so much. Walmarts are no longer 24 hours in the States, so we can't park there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, but you can't go inside, so there's not really much point.
There's no bathrooms, there's no food.
A lot of places close pretty early in the States now.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the States and seeing how different their like mask mandates and vaccine things are compared to here was insane. Just absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah. Astronomically different.
Like way less than here?
Oh yeah. There are some states that they just like COVID who.
Yeah, exactly. I'd come up and like people would, like from the venue or whatever, like come up to me like shoulder to shoulder and be like, oh, you don't have to wear that, buddy. It's fine. I'm like,
I'm gonna wear this mask.
I'm
though.
fine. I want to go home. So
Yeah.
that was the other thing that we were all super stressed out about on that last tour, because at the time, for us to come home, we had to get a PCR test. So that was like
$250 a piece.
a piece US.
Yeah.
So that was like a ton of money. And
Well, that's your guarantee for however many shows just gone.
and per person, right? And there was 4 of us, so that was a lot. But we had to test negative to come home. So the whole time we were like super stressed out. I mean, we're like washing our hands the whole time, mask on like everywhere we went.
We had 1,000 disposable masks.
Yeah, we were talking about like 3 bottles of hand sanitizer because we're like ultimately like we can't go home, and if we can't go home, what do? We sit in a van for 3 weeks and burn all of the money we just made.
Yeah, we like didn't stay at anybody's houses the whole time. We slept in the van every single night for like over a month.
Yeah,
because we just weren't gonna risk like getting sick by staying at someone's house.
Seriously.
we couldn't take the risk.
Yeah, we wanted to go home.
Yeah.
And so, how did that tour come together? Like, I'm interested to hear about how, like, the tour offer comes in, and COVID is still, like, at least here in Canada, right? Like, it's a thing. Like, it's really a thing. And so, how did that offer come in, first of all, and then how do you make that decision?
So our agent reached out to us and was like, okay, it looks like things are going to start to open up. We should start planning something for the fall and see if we can get something going. And we're like, okay, we're trying to pitch some ideas and whatever. And I think you, Simon hit us up and was like, well, let's see if like Last Hand and Filth want to do something. That'd be really fun. Friends of ours already. Let's check that out. And so we shot a message to our agent, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'll get back to you. And he got back to us within like a couple hours and was like, funny enough, they're already working on something and they were going to hit me up about it. So random coincidence, like
Just
that
worked out.
tour's already going to happen. So yeah, you guys are on it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Last 10 Seconds of Life were thinking about it, and you guys were thinking about touring with them, and it just came together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Probably easiest one to ever just come together.
Oh yeah, and it honestly couldn't have been a better first tour back because they're already like some of our really close friends. It was really nice to go out with people we knew already in the weird, uncertain times.
Yeah, having some familiar faces around made it a bit easier to.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so you go to the States, nobody gets COVID, right?
Not once.
Once we took PCR tests, even like
We did rapid tests a couple of times too, just to make sure.
And what were the crowds like, given the reality of the pandemic?
Oh, COVID didn't exist to them.
Yeah.
So the crowds were just fine.
The crowds were just fine. You know, there was like the odd person here and there that would like wear their mask and like, which is fine, do whatever you want. But like, yeah, for the most part, we were like even walking by, and like we were walking by in that one mall, and we were all stopped, and the 4 of us together, all with our masks on. Just 3 people literally walked by, like mouths wide open, just like gawking at us, and we were just like, I was like, what?
Yeah, wearing a mask down there is like you have 6 heads.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, it wasn't even like 6 months ago. You guys were wearing masks. It was funny. But yeah, no, it just doesn't exist.
So this wasn't your first U.S. tour by a long shot. You've been touring North America for a good while. Have you been over to Europe yet?
Not yet.
No,
Not yet.
I think the key word there is probably yet, not yet.
Yes.
I would think that's going to be on the horizon at some point, given.
Hands in motion already. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, just knowing what I know of Europe and what I know of your sound, I would think that you'd be well received over there. Is it a surreal feeling to be on stage? You're in the middle, I don't know, pick a state, like you're in, like, I don't know, Oklahoma or some random state, right? But you're also like 4 friends from London, Ontario that just like started a band, right? And there's like, I'm gonna guess there's people in these random states that are so far from where we live who are just like losing it for the music of Falsifier, and I'm just interested to know what that feels like.
It's definitely surreal.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the amount of shows that this band has played and like places we've been, still every time there's people that know the words to the songs or want to buy merch or just even want to pay money to come and see us. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that something that we started so long ago was actually like people would give that much of a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just must be like the weirdest but also best feeling, I would think.
The best. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially given that there's no secrets about the fact that Falsifier started. When you started, you were a bunch of like what we might call youth group kids, like kind of connected to a particular type of church. The dude with the like, the soul patch, and like the guy that just wants to do life or whatever, right? And I'm not that, but I've had friends that lived in that world, and it's interesting for sure.
We got to give a shout out to like the Christian metalcore scene in Windsor, Ontario, when we did have it, because it was very, very important for me, especially being like a kid that was in the youth group listening to Christian metalcore bands, Under Oath and all them coming up. Like we had like a small Christian metalcore scene where we were playing in a place called like Hardcore Church, or it was in like,
oh yeah, Hardcore Church, yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually like the church I attended. I was a Pentecostal Christian at the time, and so we would do our shows there. I actually like lived upstairs in that venue for a little bit, and I just come down, and like it's just the community aspect of it all. Like that was really, really cool. It was definitely like something that had a huge impact on like why I wanted to be in a band and the kind of music I wanted to make too. Like I always reference that Christian hardcore from Windsor, like the Christian hardcore two-step I call it in some of the songs I write, I guess.
Right. And but it's just kind of wild to me because like you start up and you come out of that kind of a setup, and now like you're Falsifier, which I think is amazing, right? Like it's completely amazing, right? But just knowing a bit about that scene, tangentially being involved when I was like 17, 18, whatever. I remember there was my friends played in a band. I booked the shows for them, and we went up to play some church, and a kid got thrown through a window, and like in the church, and like the pastor with the soul patch who just wanted to like do life and showed up with a bunch of pizza like 5 minutes earlier was suddenly like a different dude and like not happy about it at all. So I'm interested to know how family and friends have reacted to Falsifier. Are they supportive?
Yeah, like my mom has always been massively supportive of just music in general. Always just like it's an expression of art, so, you know, like as long as your heart is in it and it's great. So
Nice. Nice.
My mom always just says, I respect what you're doing. I don't have any idea what you're saying, but I feel like it's better off that I don't know.
yeah,
Fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I just was talking with Awilaway before this, and kind of wondered with them, and I'll wonder the same thing with you. I always feel bad for my musician friends, especially at holiday times, you know, because I can just picture like you show up and there's like the uncle that you see like once a year or whatever, and like, you know, just no concept and being like, still doing that music thing. Like, does that actually happen?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's very
Yeah.
real. Oh yeah.
yeah. It's like absolutely happens, and it's just like oh cool. Well, how long are you gonna do that for?
I don't know, Uncle. How long are you gonna keep drinking for? It's literally, it just comes down to that. It's just like if they can't accept that you're doing what you want to do and be happy, then honestly, fuck 'em.
Yeah,
Yep.
But like, I don't know. My family's been supportive. I'm sure, like from everybody else's family that I've met over the time of being in this band, everybody's been out to the shows. Everybody's supported, and
yeah. Very, very grateful. I have very, very supportive parents for sure.
That's awesome, because I just wasn't sure how that one was gonna go. You know, given like
given,
how you
like,
guys
the
came up.
genre that we played. Too,
Exactly.
I know my parents. They same with yours. Like don't understand. But I mean they see the success that it has brought us, and
Just the passion in it and the drive that
Yeah.
we all have to do it.
Yeah.
Like success or not, like I feel like our parents all feel the same. That like this is something we truly all want to do and love to do, and there's it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I think my mom's even said that like she's more than happy to see us like do what we love, but then to see other people love what we do is just even more fulfilling.
Absolutely. And as Falsifier has grown, you've seen like what happens in the music industry. You've seen what happens when you tour. I'm thinking back to this a couple of years ago. Well, it's before COVID. I seem to remember you guys got stuck in Alberta. The van broke down, right? This is the kind of thing that average music fans, I don't think, spend a lot of time reflecting on, but that's a reality of being a professional musician, isn't it? Is these unexpected things. So how do you go about dealing with those kinds of things, and how does that not like snuff out your passion for your music?
You kind of, I feel like, have to go into it expecting that something is going to happen. Tour is the best worst thing. Then, no matter what, something might happen negative, and you kind of just have to learn to let everything roll off.
Yeah.
Just keep calm. If something happens, keep calm, get through it, figure out how you can fix it. There's always a way to get through it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And so what is it that that keeps you guys passionate about Falsifier and wanting to just continue to do what you do, given all of the challenges that come along when your band grows to the point that you're at now?
I think just the five of us are super close. Like, we're insanely good friends. We talk every single day. If we lived in the same city, we would probably live in each other's back pockets. Like, Simon and I work together almost every single day.
Yeah.
We just love doing it. Like, we're just...
it's like touring with your best friends, like, constantly, and, like, we can all, like, talk to each other, and we can all hash whatever we need to hash out, and just, like, we will operate as, like, a business, but also as a family, too. Like,
And the other thing, too, like, we don't take ourselves too seriously. We're five goofy dudes who just like heavy music and just want to travel and see cool stuff and eat cool food and play heavy music. That's it.
make a little money with it.
Make a little money, hopefully, but you know,
know.
it's a nice added bonus.
Yeah, to keep the bills going enough. So
Minor detail.
Minor detail. Exactly.
Awesome. And your most recent release, if I'm remembering correctly, is a split with a band from Chicago.
Yeah, Victims from Chicago. Yeah, that split.
And so I'm trying to remember when that dropped. It was within the last year?
October 2020?
Yeah, I want to say October 2020 was.
I think it was on Halloween, wasn't it?
Just a little bit before. It was the 20th of October, 2020.
Yeah.
And how did the recording process go for that release? And like, who did you work with, etc.?
Did it all in my apartment. Literally all in my apartment. Yeah. So then we went to our one friend Drew's house and recorded vocals. Yeah. He was a really big help. A lot of cool ideas and stuff. Did and that.
Then had Cody Stewart mix and master it. Yeah, that's it. But we record everything all ourselves.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how have you seen the sound of the band evolve as the years have gone on and as there have been member changes and such? How's it different now than when Falsifier first started?
I think we've matured a lot in our sound. Rather than trying to kind of just chase what a lot of bands in the genre were doing, we're kind of just doing whatever the hell we want now.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't really keep up too much with a lot of the modern like what's going on in the scene as far as like what's hype. I listen to a lot of old the old metalcore bands, and I get a lot of influence from that, and I just, I'm just trying to make it as heavy as I can and have these guys with their input, and I don't know, just keep making heavy music.
We're just trying to write music to be our own favorite band, because I feel like if you're not doing that, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking some time here with Spinning Thoughts. And so what is next for Falsifier?
So we've got next weekend we'll be in Toronto with Brand of Sacrifice, and then in May...
That's Brad's band, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nice. What up, Brad?
Next weekend.
And then in May, we'll be going out for 2 weeks through the East Coast with Bro Job.
Oh, yes. That was just announced this past week.
Yeah, we just announced that on Monday,
Yeah.
And how did that one come together?
Super last minute, honestly.
Yeah.
We were trying to plan something for June or May, and we just... had a few snags on like what we really wanted to do, and then our agent was like, well, I got this, like, you guys want to do this one? We're like, oh yeah, that sounds fun for sure. Like, it's a band that we have never played with before, and it's gonna be, I think, markets that we wouldn't normally hit, so it could be pretty cool. It's gonna be really fun.
Awesome. And then we may look out for possible European announcements for the summertime.
Hopefully. Well, I don't know when the announcement's going to be, but we're figuring that out right now. And then also new music very, very, very soon. Yeah. Got an EP basically ready to go. Just can probably a single within the next, maybe month and a bit.
Yeah. We're ready with it. We're just kind of like sitting on it and like finishing up, polishing it, make sure it's the best product we can put out.
Nice. Well, it sounds like there is some good things on the horizon for Falsifier. And just before we wrap up, is there anything else that you would like to add?
Hi, Mom.
Yes.
I don't know if you got anything.
Keep doing what you love to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. If you got a chance to go out and tour the world, honestly, do it.
Yeah. Get some of your best friends together and make some music.
Whatever it is that makes you happy, do it. Money is temporary.
Money's temporary.
Money's for spending.
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Once again, I want to thank Falsifier for being here for episode 229 of Spinning Thoughts. It was awesome to have this band on the podcast for the first time, and hopefully it's not the last. The band was teasing some new music and potentially some tours in some new places. I'm really excited to see what 2022 does for Falsifier. Make sure you go and check out everything they've got going on, and while you're at it, make sure you give this video a like. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not. Leave a comment down below and let us know. Have you heard of Falsifier before? What did you think of the lineup at No Passage Fest 2022? Leave it all down below. We're on all social media at Spin Thoughts. Our website is thespinningthoughts.com, and we have premiere episodes every Thursday at midnight Eastern on Adobe Radio. Don't forget to go check out all of the content that we're doing. We're always posting on TikTok, Reels on Instagram, doing top 5 lists of new music that dropped and Throwback Thursday stuff. Our New Music Friday playlist is just rolling right along. If you didn't know, the New Music Friday playlist, you can find it by searching Spinning Thoughts New Music Friday on Spotify. We have over 360 songs on there right now with almost 20 hours of the best new music that dropped right here in the year of 2022. Go and give that playlist a like and a follow if you're somebody that wants to try to keep up with all of the amazing new music here in 2022. We'll be back again, same time, same place. Until then, make sure you share music, spread love.